This is my video response to Robert Angel 30's video on vegan diets, how unhealthy they are, crap like that. He started off with a laundry list of different vitamins that were obviously lacking due to our unnatural ways, starting with vitamin B12. Vitamin, even he said, most vegans are pretty familiar with. This can also be found, besides animal-based products, in the majority of energy drinks, soy milk, OJ. I mean, the list really goes on and on. So that's completely rebutted. Then he gets into some other ones like riboflavin, which can be found in a lot of milk-based products, milk, cheese, stuff like that, but can also be found in leafy green vegetables, which is completely not a problem for the majority of vegans in the world. Another is vitamin D, which is primarily found, is true, in animal-based products, but can equally be obtained from simply going outside in the sun every now and again, mushrooms, and of course a healthy dose of soy milk never hurts. Then he gets into some others like selenium, which I never completely understood why he mentioned selenium, considering it's found in the soil, so any plant matter that you eat is going to have a certain amount of selenium. So a vegetarian or vegan diet is certainly not a problem as far as obtaining selenium. Then he gets into iodine. Now, iodine is a very interesting issue. This is mentioned a lot of times on vegan forums because, for example, in Europe, a lot of salt isn't iodized. So without animal-based products, you can suffer from an iodine deficiency. The solution is, for the most part, a simple multivitamin that you can get at any grocery store that will supply you with iodine and pretty much anything else you need. For North American vegans, there's also simply getting like a 1/4 tablespoon of salt each day. Though, of course, subsidizing your diet with salt isn't necessarily the best way to go. You can also eat seaweed, but sometimes you could actually suffer an iodine overdose due to just the sheer volume of it contained in certain amounts of seaweed. So, I mean, in short, simply go with the multivitamins. A single bottle is not all that expensive. Then he gets into calcium, which is a very popular but complete myth. Tofu, soy milk, and other stereotypical ideas of what a vegan diet consists of all have calcium, so it's really not a problem. Also, broccoli, turnips, and countless other vegetables are an excellent source of calcium. Let's get into, what's another one he mentioned? Kerosene. This is the first antioxidant he mentions, which can help with autistic patients, and generally, like any antioxidant, is good for brain function. It's true that there isn't really a natural vegan source for kerosene, but there's no real proof that it's even necessary. For anyone that interested, a site he mentions, Life Science, does contain a kerosene supplement for vegans, but I just don't see the point myself. Then he gets into L-carnitine, which is another antioxidant, but also helps with bone loss, glucose account in diabetes patients, and to increase the number of special men among us. Now, for us vegans and our sperm, luckily L-carnitine is pretty common among soy milk, yet again broccoli, nuts, seeds, beans, peas, corn. I mean, there's really there's an abundant quantity all over the place. It's not a problem at all for vegans. Then of course he gets into omega-3 fatty acids, another very common topic on vegan forums. There's actually quite a number of common sources for this too: strawberries, walnuts, and yet again broccoli. You can also find this in soy milk, and as with iodine, if nothing else, you can always buy, yet again, a single bottle of multivitamins available at any grocery store. Then after this, he gets on to the stereotype of vegans as health nuts. Not exactly the worst stereotype. I certainly wish I was, but I'm of course guilty of smoking, drinking, and just generally not exercising enough. But apparently at least I know my nutrition facts a little better, so that's something at least. And then he gets into various famous vegans, starting with Robert Watson, who lived into his mid-90s, but apparently just didn't look very healthy for a 90-year-old. Now, if he's trying to tie this in somehow with...
look healthy?
Well, if he's trying to tie this in somehow with vegan diets, there's an easy site to visit called veganbodybuilders.com, which has plenty of people who obviously get all the nutrition they need and have healthy bodies and practice veganism for that very reason. Then, of course, one point at least we could agree on is the unnecessary treatment of animals in factory farms. He even agreed that it doesn't necessarily need to be done. Though, of course, my rebuttal to that is, if you can eat healthfully and, not support this harsh treatment of animals, then why not? Why wouldn't you do it? Of course, I'm not trying to force anyone to, pick up a vegan diet, but it's an easy choice to make. You also, don't contribute to the sheer volume of air and water pollution, and just generally benefit a lot from not being a consumer to this industry. Now, personally, one thing I did love about his video was his list of famous vegans, including Charles Manson and Hitler, among others. The only point I could really add to this is that, contrary to popular belief, Hitler was not a vegetarian, not at all. He was a big fan of Bavarian sausages, ham, liver, and other vegan no-nos. This all stems back from this suggestion made to the German people concerning eating meatless products in order to help with the food shortage. And of course, as this may seem to be a vote yes to vegetarians in Nazi Germany, he actually outright banned a lot of vegetarian organizations, including a magazine known as Vegetarian Wart, or however you pronounce that. Probably due to the same reason that many modern meat eaters hate vegetarians, because they are stereotypically bleeding heart liberals. So you hear that, meat-eating Americans of the world, you are our Hitler. Just thought I would add that little bit in. So, in short, that's the end. Hope you enjoyed.